Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
If I was closer to the thing, I would hit the drum one.
Which one?
Hold on.
Are you disgusted that I'm going to hit it with my foot?
I'm going to wipe it down.
Okay. Wipe.
The blue one. But the left blue and the turquoise.
I hit 2 at one time.
Okay. It did play it, though. I heard it. It was underneath.
Do you want me
Yeah.
Ow.
Okay, we won't do that
Yeah,
again.
we won't do that again. I do have very flexible feet.
Well,
OnlyFans. You know what I did? I almost tweeted it, but I was like, gross. I was like, do you think there's a market for foot pics for people who have like poor circulation? But then I just thought that kind of like stepped into like necrophilia.
you and I had this conversation like a year ago.
Oh, okay. We did. Oh, it just came back to me. Dude, the sky looks so, look at the clouds right now.
Yeah, that's great.
It's beautiful. You can't see this because this is a podcast. We are on video on Patreon.
You might be able to see it right there.
Maybe. Well, welcome back. We are an advice podcast. I'm Megan. I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, producer, Melissa.
Hello, my name's Melissa Diamond Motts.
Sure, rub it in that your middle name is not Marie, Rose, Lynn. What are the other ones? Do you not even know how everybody has like 80? I would say 80% of the population has the same middle name. Have you not heard of this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But I was like,
I thought I don't even know. I'm tired.
Me too. We're not fighting.
I thought you were like, you named yours within that.
Because it is.
I know. And so
it just took you a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm computing.
She's hacking.
No, I mean like my brain is like, it's taking time to compute.
I can tell.
Yeah.
It's okay. So that's mine too.
I mean, we were literally outside and I thought I made a mistake in a sentence that I made, and then I ran it back through my head and I said, no, that was correct sentence.
In my face the whole time, I'm just like, what? Because you also like, the funny thing is for other people when they're like, oh wow, I'm really like tired or I'm like slow responding to things, mine becomes just faster, and it's not like I'm listening better or doing anything better. My brain just starts like, my brain is never really slow unless I guess maybe if I'm drunk, and then it's just too fast.
Mine's more like I said something and then I replay it in my head again and again. It's like, okay, that was good.
Wow, I don't know if I could remember what I said.
Well, I have a memory that I wish wasn't as good as it is.
Yeah. I don't have that. I did replay the sentence in my head. Oh, I already forgot the one. But the one I just said before that. It was only like 3 words. And I was like, okay, I remember. I already forgot it. Wow. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, basically, we're an advice podcast. If you're new here, hi, we love giving advice. And why do we give advice? Because we can. We have a podcast. Let us live. We have no credentials to give advice, but what we lack in credentials, we make up for in opinions. We have opinions on everything.
I like how you do not trust me anymore to finish that sentence.
No, because you never fucking remember it.
But the thing is, now
you do.
Say it,
I wonder that the next time I do give you the break, you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I forgot." You're just like, it's like your pee shot.
Like the last 2-3 ones, I've been ready, but you keep going.
Okay, well, you know what? Next time, you'll prepare. You'll forget. Fucking nits. So if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, we play voicemail. So leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And we ask that you are 18 or over, have your parents' permission to call in. You let us know your age, your pronouns, and you only have 3 minutes. So the best way to go about it, we always recommend write down what you're going to say. Pull out your timer on your phone, time it out, see how long it is, see if you're missing any information. And then you can honestly, for the call, we appreciate it when you have written it down and then you could just read it on the call. We love it. It's very well prepared, very succinct. And same thing applies for international listeners and voice memos. You'll get cut off at 3 minutes and it just won't ever play. Those are all the things I say at the start, right?
Yes, they are.
I'm in a weird mood.
Who?
Me.
You?
Yeah, I don't like when you talk like this. It stresses me out.
What?
It's so Stepford wifey. What's new with you? I hate it. What's new with you? Tell me what's new with you.
Hi, Megan.
Okay, I will get straight to the fucking update. Should I tell everybody what's new with you?
What's new with you? I don't have anything new with me.
Was that story you were going to tell me that you didn't?
I already told you on another podcast.
Oh, fuck. Wow. Sloppy seconds. So how are your dating apps going?
I was depressed the last 2 weeks, so.
So not good.
No, but I've started taking birth control and I feel better.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wonder, yeah. Hormone balancing.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I'm happy for you. So you didn't depressed swipe because
I know. And honestly, everybody, it got to a point where everybody I was talking to was getting on my nerves. And I was like, I'm not giving people a fair shot. I just need to close this out right now. But I'm feeling a lot better now.
Good. I love that for you. Yeah. When you're not in a good headspace and you start swiping, I've done that. And then that's when I'll text next. And I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
Because you're these people suck. And you're like, you also, speaking of sucks.
Yeah. My friend told me about some other app. I forgot the name of it. Can't tell you because we're using my phone to record because I forgot to bring the other one. But it's for people that are on their shit.
Professionals.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about. The only one I know that's also professionals is Locks Club, but that's young Jewish professionals. Or I guess any age Jewish professionals.
Yeah, this isn't that. Obviously. Even though I would say 80% of the guys that I match with are Jewish guys. Yes.
Yeah. You know what? You should tell the cute story. Was it Audrey who did the thing at school where writing who she wants to how it was just all the answers about you? I want to see Aunt Melissa.
That was so long ago.
I know, but you never said that. But that's a cute thing.
So my niece Adriana wrote this summer bucket list, and so it says places I want to go, California, things I want to eat, all the sweets at my auntie's house. She always has sweets. So for that, I thought that she was referencing my other sister, Megan, because she's never been in my house. And it's what are you talking about? But then I forget, you know how I do my, when I'm on my period and I buy all the sweets.
Yeah.
And so that's what she was referencing.
From video, from what she's seen.
Because I will literally sit down and just have a table full of chocolate.
No, you have
there's a new I don't know if it's an actual restaurant. I think it's one of those ghost restaurant things. You know what I'm talking about? Spooky. That all of it is chocolate. And it's European chocolate, so it's really good chocolate. And they'll make they'll chocolate dip Oreos, and so delicious. If you're in LA, just look up chocolate on DoorDash. I guess they'll deliver it anywhere.
That was also
because it's closer to where you are.
There was a big one that was one of those things that would always be in random little like cornery mall things in Riverside, that it would be ones, but everything would be like caramel or chocolate. So you get anything dipped in either of the two.
Yeah.
It was good.
Anyway, things I want to do. I want to go to Disneyland. I don't know who's going to take her because it won't be me. Because
I'll take her.
You'll take her. I forgot you like Disneyland.
Not right now.
Clothes I'll wear. A Princess Tiana dress. And people I want to see. Auntie Listen. Princess Tiana.
So
I love that we're on the same level.
Yeah, and also the whole theme is you. Like as soon as it goes, where do you want to go? California goes, I know where this is headed. Yep. Like it's going to be the entire theme, and it's just adorable. I love it.
Aww.
Trying to think if I have anything new. It's almost my birthday. By the time this comes out, it'll be closer to my birthday. Trying to plan something fun to do.
Am I invited?
Okay. She's doing this just for the podcast. You're on the group text. Like, you already know.
I do.
But you just wanted everyone else to know that you were also invited. Okay.
And if I feel like if I wasn't invited, people would be mad. Be like,
imagine I just
they're
lie here.
fake.
They're fake. Fake bitches. No, you're obviously invited. I do need to figure out though, like, am I a wild bitch that is like gonna go to, am I gonna be that friend who makes all of my friends go to Palm Springs in August?
That's why we need a big ass pool.
Well, of course. I mean, that's the entire point.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of that, or I was like, maybe we could do like a Arrowhead thing or whatever. But then you have to like interact with way more people because like you have to have like a boat day. Like, you know what I mean? There's more activities. I don't hate boats, but I think boats might hate me. Like, I don't do well. I'm a queasy.
I want to go to Palm Springs.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I've already been like...
Great, okay, perfect. So
you mentally fit okay, cool. Figuring things
I'm just
out.
glad. Because you're I mean, actually, none of my friends would lie to me and say if they wanted. No one would go just to appease me.
I've like told my mother about it.
Well, should we hop into our update? Hop. So, self-explanatory. We've got an update from a caller from a previous episode.
Okay, so my original call was that I was having trouble with staying in the closet. I had a girlfriend and I've had her for 3 years, and I just really wanted to tell my parents, but I was afraid of their reaction because they're really traditional and Hispanic, and I was just scared. But I was feeling really conflicted because I felt like it was getting around time for me to tell them, because I've been having her around and she slept over before, so I really just complicated things over time. And my update is that I came out to my parents.
That was fast.
Wow.
Yeah. The reason I felt like I could do that is because it was like a week after your call. My brother got like belligerently day drunk and like out of nowhere said, Dad knows everything. And I was like, oh my God. That's horrible. Like he said it in such an ominous tone that I was like, oh no. And he told me that he probably knew that I was dating my girlfriend, not just that I was queer. And so I kind of panicked. But then literally 2 days after that happened, my mom approached me and she was like, hey, just so you know, like I noticed you never bring any guys around and you have never had a boyfriend before. And I just want you to be happy and I want you to feel loved and cared for. And then she started like crying and she was like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I just want you to be happy. But that was like completely out of nowhere. And I was kind of in shock. So I gave myself time to like think about it. I called my brother and talked to him and he was just like, do it now. He was camping at the time. So I was alone with my parents. It was just me there. And I was about to say it to them. I told them I need to tell you something. And I started crying because I was really scared. And then my dad hugged me and he said, is your partner your girlfriend? And I was like, yes. And then they said, we don't care. It doesn't matter. We love you and we love her. So they basically already knew at that point, I guess.
So what you're saying is I was right.
Yeah, that's true. This is going to make me cry. This is so sweet.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I was really happy. As soon as that happened, I was like, Melissa was right. They didn't know.
Oh, that's so funny. Wow. Oh,
yeah.
I'm just really happy because you were kind of scared because of like financial stuff, right? Like they
Yeah. Because my partner ended up having, like, they got outed. So they had their finances taken away completely, and things just went the worst way for her.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that this went. I'm happy for you, and I'm also so happy for your partner, for both of you to be in a home where you're not keeping any secrets and you're accepted and comfortable. Especially, I'm sure a lot of anxiety probably also came from how your partner, how that whole thing went with them being outed. And I think it's also so great that your parents already were and we love your partner. We already really we really like them. So that's such a great thing. And I'm so happy. This is I love this. This is the one thing that gets me this is the one TikTok genre that gets me cries, people coming out to families, or families being we accept, it hits me in the fucking feels. And I'm so happy for you.
Me too.
My partner was also really happy. We had a movie night, all of us together. So they really like spending time with her also. And that makes me super happy.
Oh my God. I love this.
Wonderful.
I'm so happy for you. Everyone's going to be so excited to hear this update.
I know.
I know. Thank you so much for calling in originally. And just being able to be by proxy a part of watching this happen and hearing about this is so great. And I'm so happy for both of you.
Yeah, and thank you for your advice. You actually helped a lot. When you said they probably know, I was
you're so spot on. So spot on. That's hilarious. Well, thank you so much for giving the update and everything.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
Bye.
Back from the update. This makes me so happy.
Me too, because I love when I'm right.
You do. I mean, I can't even shit on you because I also love when I'm right. But
I'm happy for her, especially because when this happened, it was during Pride Month too, and her parents came to her. So they knew, and I'm happy that everything worked out.
Yeah. And the fact that it's also basically already a lot happened all at once. We know, we love you, it's great. And also we know that this is definitely who you're dating, and we love her. And I think that's amazing. And so happy. Yay. Absolutely love it. And it always feels great to be included in this kind of when there's really happy stuff, being able to share that and be excited. Obviously the sad stuff is too you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. Should we get into the rest of the episode? Roll the tapes, play the calls.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm 21 years old. I'm calling in for advice about how to confront someone. Over the past few months, I've started questioning my sexuality, and I'm pretty sure I'm bi. I'm very lucky to have friends and family who are very liberal and supportive of the LGBTQ community, and I know they will accept me no matter what. That being said, because this realization is so new, I've only come out to my closest friends and my little brother. I know that my parents will love me no matter what, but I'm still nervous to tell them because it's such big news. The problem I'm having is with one of my closest friends who I'm out to. She also uses she, her pronouns and is also 21. She's a part of a family that my family's really close with. And the other day we were talking and she was telling me a story about how she was talking with her mom about dating. And her mom kind of said that, I don't know how the topic of being gay and dating came up, but I guess her mom said that being gay isn't a choice and referenced me as an example of that. My friend said it in passing in the middle of her story, but I know she told her mom about my sexuality. I don't mind that her mom knows because she's like a second mom to me, and it would never be mean to me because of my identity. But I guess I'm just a little upset that I wasn't the one to decide when she knew about my sexuality, and I wasn't the one to tell her. I guess a part of me is also worried that her mom will accidentally out me to my parents before I'm the one to tell them. It feels really weird to have the choice of who knows about my sexuality taken away from me, and I want to talk to my friend about it. I'm not a very confrontational person, so if you have any advice about how to bring this up or what I should say to my friend, that would be really helpful. Thank you guys, and I love your podcast.
Well, lucky for you, you've got the queen of confrontation.
Haha. Hello. Welcome, my subjects. Yeah, I mean, I think the first question is, how did this conversation with your friend go? Because you are out to your friend, and I'm assuming your friend knows that you are not out to everybody. And I would hope that they had told your mom, like, had told their mom, like, hey, like, she's not out, so let's like, please don't, like, let's not. And also, in general, it like, I think the sentiment of the mom is like, great, but if someone's not out to you, like, speculating and talking about their sexuality, I mean, talk about anybody's, like.
Did the friend tell her mom?
I think it came out, and the mom just, they were talking about how it came up, however it came up, and mom said that being gay is not a choice, and then used the collar as an example. And so, like, I think it sounds like your friend confirmed it to her mom, which, if you're mad about that, that's, like, also a very valid thing to be upset about, because unless you've had a conversation previously where it's like, hey, if someone asks you or talks about it, I don't want you to lie. I want you to say, I am, but, like, she's not out yet or anything like that. But yeah, I think you have to ask your friend to ensure to tell her that she should have told her mom, like, A, we don't speculate about people and who they're attracted to, especially when they're, like, not here and, like, has not come out to you. But she's not out to her parents, so please keep it to yourself.
But also, like, how did your friend tell you?
Yeah, that's what I'm
like. How did this, like, I understand maybe her and her mom having this conversation, and then she comes and brings the story and tells you, like, why? The whole situation just seems odd.
Yeah, it seems odd.
Because I can understand, like, maybe telling your mom something and then
be like, you can't tell anyone.
Yeah. And that's a conversation that they have between themselves.
Maybe the friend was trying to, like, be like, look, maybe, like, they're thinking that you're very concerned about coming out to your family, that they won't be accepting. It's like, look, my mom knows, and, like, she thinks it's great, and she's friends with your parents. Like, maybe it was, like, that kind of a thing. But I think, like, the ultimate thing is to have a conversation with your friend. And if you spend a lot of time at this, like, friend's house with her parents, I think if you feel comfortable, you can also have a conversation with her mom too. But I would have a conversation with her and just be like, hey, can you let your mom know that I'm not out to my family? And, like, I think, like, her sentiment is great, but and in general, if someone, like, figure out what it is you want to do, if which it sucks to say, if people are suddenly speculating about you, what you want your friends to, like, say. I think it's kind of a no-brainer that, like, it's not my thing to share. Mm-hmm. But some people are also very adamant about, some people can find a little, like, some, like, straight people can find it, like, a little, like, oh, I don't want to lie. I don't want to make it seem like it's a bad thing and I'm lying or whatever. But, like, it's also not our choice to make. So I would let your friend know with that. And then any of your other, like, close friends or people who know, I think I would just kind of do it, like, a quick pop check-in with them and be like, hey, some people have, like, through proxy been finding out that I haven't had a chance to tell yet. And this is something that, like, I'm going to tell people at my own time and my own pace. And it's something that, whatever your feelings are regarding about coming out to certain people, like, it is your
story, your journey, your choice as to who you tell and when you tell and how you tell them. Mm-hmm. And that was taken away from you.
Yeah. And it feels like kind of, it's like a weirdly passive way that it's like, oh, like, my mom assumed and then I convert, like, yeah. So I think that, like, it's just having a direct conversation about that. And then for the other part, you're like, how do I deal with, like, people finding, like, I don't think you should have to, like, I don't think that this needs to be, like, I don't think you need to control your response or figure out how to deal with people, letting other people know that you're, like, bi before you tell them. Like, they shouldn't tell them. And I think that I would assume if you have this conversation with most of your friends, I'm going to assume that like this other friend might be the only one who this is going to be like a revelation to.
I'm also going to assume if the same way that I assumed with the update, if your friend's mom knows, then your parents probably know too.
Yeah, but I mean, I
understand if that's like you want to be able to tell on your own time, but that might be taken away from you because they may slip up and say something.
Yeah, that's just again, the energy, great, but just like stop. Yeah, it's just odd. And part of me also wonders, I'm like, how did that conversation come up? Like,
I think she told her. I think she just said it, and then your friend, I don't know if this mom has like loose lips and she goes around telling people stuff, and your friend was like backtracking to cover her ass. Me and my mom was just talking, and she was like, she just was like, it's not a choice because Sarah's bi. Like, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line is have the conversation, set those boundaries with her and any other friends. Then I would also do some more digging about that conversation because like, it's weird. Like, I think that like, you're right. I think it could have been, I told my mom and then like, I realized that like she might accidentally tell your parents or they were like going to go do something. And so like, I wanted to like, I was trying to cover my ass or whatever, or maybe it wasn't even like, maybe it never even actually happened, but she just like thinks that you're very nervous about coming out to your family. And so she was like, well, my mom was saying that like being gay is not a choice. Like, that's just such a weird specific thing that I'm like, did that come up in conversation? Was like someone else saying that it was like, was your friend, I don't want to say your friend was insinuating what that was, or were like they talking about your friend's sexuality?
Were they like talking about like, the only way that I've heard like that even come up in conversation is when somebody will jokingly say something and it's still offensive, and I don't think it's a good joke, and say like she dated blah 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 and he turned her gay, like she's gay now, and then somebody will say, well, sexuality is not a choice.
Yeah, because I'm wondering like, were you and your mom talking about like some like homophobic shit that like some politician was saying, and then it was like, this is the conversation from her? Because sexuality it's not like that, being gay is not a choice.
Maybe they were watching something on TV.
That's what, yeah. So like I would I mean, maybe you don't even care about that origin of it, but like to me,
and just the story just seems
a little weird. It seems a little odd because it seems like a response to something, or just very much like, I am have you seen that one TikTok audio that's like, slay queen, we are sashaying away with deals like every store during Pride Month. But yeah, so have those stern talking to with your friends, and also like, it's not don't feel like you're being like I don't want to put this on you to make you think you're feeling like this at all, but like your friends who are there for you for all of this, like this is the least that they can do, like, is to respect your wishes for all of this kind of stuff. So like, don't feel like you're like burdening or like being annoying with being like, hey, can you not, or like blah, like, no, it's the easiest thing in the entire world to like not out somebody. And it really should be common sense, but for some people it's not. And like, you don't have to like filter your reaction to that. Like, you're allowed to be mad. So I hope it all goes well and you get to tell your parents
in your own time.
Yeah. And it also sounds like you're not worried about your parents' reaction at all, and they're very accepting and all of that. So I think even if on the off chance it did come back to your parents, I think your parents would like let you come to them when you were ready. And that's happened before to people I know that they've been passively outed, quote unquote, that wasn't necessarily public and they weren't there for, but families had found out, or even times where like parents figure that kind of stuff out through anything. But it's about waiting until they know that, they'll be accepting. And so waiting until you're ready.
Yep.
Should we get on to the next?
Yeah, we should, Megan.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I have a pretty big dilemma that I would like to get your input on. I've talked about this probably to literally everyone I know, and I'm just lost at what to do. So I'm 21 years old, and my boyfriend and I have been together for more than 2.5 years already. So during COVID and that whole shebang and lockdown and whatever, we decided that we would want to move in together. And so right now we are both still living with our parents. And we wanted to move abroad to Europe. We're not American, by the way. And so we said that we would wait until the summertime to see, how we are feeling about it and starting to look for jobs. And I have a European citizenship, which is why we wanted to move to Europe. And also because we just really liked it there when we were there. But almost 2 months ago, I want to say, my boyfriend applied for this job in the United States where he gets sent out to work in the US for like security purposes or whatever, but that doesn't really matter. And he didn't tell me before he applied. He only told me afterwards. And at first I was excited. And then now that he's doing the course that he needs to for the job, we're kind of realizing that I don't really have a way to move with him because I applied for the same job. I didn't get accepted. And I'm not American. I don't have like a work permit. I only have a tourist visa, and he really wants to move. And we're talking about him moving in like the next month is when they want to send him out. So everything is going really, really quickly. And I am just like lost. My parents told me that I should try to get like a student visa and try to find like a course to do or whatever. But I just really don't know how I'm feeling about it. By the way, for work, I currently work as a content creator for an NGO, but I am an actor and a model as well. And that's just something I really want to pursue. And I could try in the US, but I really wouldn't know how to go about it, especially since I don't have a work permit. So thank you so much for listening. And I really would appreciate your advice. Thanks.
I would be high-key offended.
I'd be so pissed.
I'd be like really
because he applied to the job and didn't even tell you
in a different country that you can't get to. I mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a different European country. Like, it's a place where he knows you don't have like a work visa. I'd be really offended because I don't mean this in a bad, like, what does your boyfriend think? Because you've talked about like, oh, my parents think I should get a student. What does your boyfriend think you should do? Because
he's not making effort to stay in the same place that you are.
Well, and also like you were both making an effort. You both had a plan. And like, in my mind, I would have been like, if you want me to move to America when you were applying for jobs, I applied, like you said you applied for the same job as him. Like, he should have told you that then, have a better chance of you getting said job and like being able to do this together. But like, from what you're saying, it's not sounding like it sounds like I'm moving to America.
Come if you can.
Yeah. And if you can't, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like he didn't consult you on this plan at all. And like, so you've been dating for 2.5 years. So like half of your dating has been in the pandemic?
Half, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what I would do is I would have a really honest conversation with him and be like, do you still want to be together? Why wouldn't you tell me this about this job? what happens if I don't come? What happens if I move to Europe like we had intentionally planned? What then? And I would see what he says, because I think before you start bending over backwards to move somewhere that you have not expressed in the call, that this wasn't your plan, this isn't really where you wanted to be. I think before you like bend over backwards trying to find a way to get here, find out why you weren't included in the plan and
why he changed the plan.
Yeah, and also, does he want you to come? Like,
doesn't sound like
I would be
me.
so mad. Like, I would be so mad because, like,
and her parents are like for this, right?
Well, it sounds like they're problem solving, and that's why I want to know if your boyfriend is problem solving. Because if they're being like, oh, well, you could get a student visa, you could like do that, and that would be able to tide you over, essentially. Take classes as many as you need to keep that up, and then you could get a work visa from finding a job while in the States while you're already in the States. But like, your boyfriend should be the one who like should be. Where is he? How is he contributing to this like problem solving kind of plan? And I also say all this because like, you would essentially be moving across the country moving a fuck ton, like hella far away for somebody else. And then what if the relationship doesn't work out? What do you have here? There's nothing that's bringing you here from your job and that kind of stuff.
I think you guys just need to communicate and have a conversation, because he made a lot of decisions without you when you guys already had a plan, and he veered away from that plan. So now, does he want you to be part of his plan? Because it's his plan. It's not your joint plan as it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just think that like, for what you're doing, like you have to establish yourself in like, for especially like modeling and acting, like you have to establish yourself. I mean, acting, I can't speak on modeling, in the industry there. And like, even actors who are from Canada who come over to the US, like you have to start out, like if you're still like in the process of auditioning, you're not getting offers, like offer only, you basically have to start over. And like, you know, big fish, small pond, small fish, big pond, and all of that. Like your job prospects are not, are things that are like really connections based and like very luck and up in the air and that kind of stuff. And so why make it hard? Do you know what I mean? Like, why make it harder? Why come here? You don't have to. I'm like, I would be really offended, but I think, I don't think the solution is moving here. I think like, if you really want to move to the States and like, that's like a dream and all of that stuff, then I think you have to be long distance for a while, until there is something that makes you really want to move here and you have a work visa and you have that. But like, I think, you know, signing up for classes and doing all of that stuff, like you are going like 10,000% and he's not going any percent for you.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go to Europe,
go.
You don't need him for that, because he didn't need you to apply for this job.
No. And even if it was like an on the whim kind of thing, like this is like,
it's still a conversation to be had when they had a plan.
Yeah, you already had a plan, and like he's moving next month. And what is he? Yeah. And I think no matter what, even if you decide that going to America is something that you want, release from the idea that you are going to go with him when he goes. Like, because that will require, again, like you're going to end up in a new city, and I think you need, my biggest advice is go. If you want to go, only go for a job. Don't go for a prospective job. Don't go for like, oh, like maybe this will expand acting and modeling and all that stuff. Go for like a steady income and a job and a guaranteed work visa. Don't go for anything less than that. And that's only if you want to go. But I would lose my shit. Okay. We're going to take a break. You
more weird about that.
I know. We're back from our break and we're getting to the rest of the calls.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I am a single 20-year-old cisgendered female with she, her pronouns. I am calling for advice on how not to be dry over text. I have gotten on dating apps recently because of you guys, and I'm finding that it's hard to get to know someone over text and that the conversation gets really dry very quickly. Do you have any advice for keeping the conversation open? Another thing I'm struggling with over dating apps is I'm finding that the guys I'm talking to or looking at give me the ick and that I'm extremely picky. I have not been in a serious relationship and am a virgin, so I'm afraid for falling for a fuckboy, and the softer guys that I am talking to are giving me the ick. Like they just have some traits that I'm not attracted to whatsoever. So I don't know what to do. Please help. Also, I am a Pisces and a Taurus rising, I'm pretty sure. So do what you will with that. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.
I think the good and bad thing is that there's a lot of culprits that this could be. So a lot of, some of the times, like it can just be the people that you're talking to. And like,
I want to say the majority of the guys on dating apps give me the ick.
Yes. Majority of men, most men give me the ick.
Yes. So I don't think that if you're able to spot that, then just swipe left and keep it moving.
And I think if it's not every single person, and first of all, some days you might swipe through and like everyone gives you the ick, but like if you can find a couple of people who don't give you the ick, then like I wouldn't worry. I mean, I don't think you should worry in general, but then like you're solid. Like
yeah,
it's normal. I think every man except for Moss gives me like.
Also, like, what app are you on too? Because I've found from my own experience that some apps way more icks than the others.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. But like, so part of the thing is there are certain like traits, yes, that give you the ick. And I think you need to filter. You need like an ick graph where it's like, am I feeling an ick because like of this person's like answers to questions, automatic swipe left? Am I feeling an ick based on this person's, hobbies or how they've described themselves, like their political, like am I getting an ick just by like their face, like swipe left? And then I think if you are having a conversation and you're enjoying it for a while, or it's just kind of feels like having a dry conversation, figure out what's a dry conversation and what's like an ick conversation. Are they like saying things that make you feel really weird, or is it just kind of this person's kind of boring? Because I think that some people are really, really shitty over message. And
which I'm actually one of those people.
You are. I'm the opposite. I'm great on message.
And so for myself, I just be like, because most of the apps now have like a built-in calling within the app. So then you don't have to give them your number. And so I will just be like, hey, do you want to get on FaceTime or whatever the messenger app is in that? Because I'm better over phone.
Yeah. And I think that like, that's what I would try out multiple different things to see, because I think like the issue is if you are trying to make a conversation not dry, if the person is just like,
not giving you anything to work with, then
there's nothing that you can do.
If they're just like, if you're asking a question and they're just like giving you a one-word answer and then that's it, then there's nothing you can do. Everybody should be asking, like, you finish saying what you say, you message, and then you ask a question, a follow-up question with that. That's how you keep the conversation going.
Yeah. And also, you need to be the conversationalist that you want to have back. So if for you, like, I'm always like, if you've read my book, you can tell. But like when I write, it sounds like me. So like when I'm having conversation, like my first opening line to someone would always be like a joke. Like it would always be something funny and it always be quippy like that. And if someone automatically wasn't responding with that same energy, swipe left.
Same with me. Yeah. I'll find something on their profile and roast them about it.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, can you hang? Do we have the same kind of thing? But if you are not doing that as much and you're looking for that in somebody else, we just tend to mirror what we're giving back and forth. But if you are giving like fire response, funny as fuck, and they're not.
Yeah. And maybe you're not funny.
Yeah.
And they're just not giving you a thoughtful conversation back. And if you're giving thoughtful conversation, but maybe you're not asking questions too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing that with apps specifically is the best matches, I think, are from people who pursue each other equally. And I think a lot of the time, some people are really used to pursuing and some people aren't. So some people can like pursue so hard. And that just feels like icky and creepy because you only know like 5 things about me in a picture, a couple pictures. And then other people are used to being more pursued. And so they're kind of waiting for multiple messages first or like going out on a limb and all of that. But because there's so many options and like swiping through and all of that kind of stuff, it's about both being equally interested. But I think if you're like looking to spark good conversation, I always reference something in the profile, and I usually always reference like not the most obvious things. So, like,
yep. Same.
You can always like think about it. Like that's kind of my default now. Like I can automatically see them to go, oh, this is definitely what everybody talks about. And I'm like this other thing, but like maybe go with your second thing that you see or you think of when you say that kind of stuff and respond. And then find out, are you someone who prefers to hop on a FaceTime and talk? But the whole point of like interacting just with messages at first is, I personally believe that the only time that you should be kind of exchanging those messages like for an extended period of time is because you're enjoying that conversation. You're having a good conversation. And if you're interested in someone, but the messages are kind of like, they're not bad, but they're not great. Maybe that person's not great in message. Let's hop on a FaceTime call. You don't have to have the same protocol for each person that you talk to. And I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being picky. It's a unique situation where it like amplifies how we're picky because like we have just way more options there. So I think it makes a lot of people, myself included, when I was on dating apps, feel like, oh my God, I'm so picky. And it's like, no, this is most people. Most people aren't attracted or into every single person that like, if you think about it in like a day of like people just crossing your path during the day, you're not like, wow, I saw 60 people today that I want to marry.
Right.
Like,
and also too, I got into a thing where I was like, anybody that I saw, I would like that I was attracted to and I liked what their profile say, I was swiping right and I was juggling too many people at the same time. And so that also dries up conversation. Just like have 2 or 3 people that you're talking to at a time. And then if you're done with that person, move it and then bring another person into the rotation.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that like you just have to figure out specifically what, like, again, filter the icks.
Another thing, too, if you are able to do this, do the premium membership, too, because, like, you can filter out certain things like political affiliations if you pay for it.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, it makes sense that you should be able to do that.
I think it should be free, but yes.
I didn't know. I thought they just got rid of that in general. It's just now under their premium.
Yep.
Because you know me, when I downloaded dating apps, we were in Colorado, so I could try and find people who went to Stop and Steal.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up being like, was really offended by...
for that, they stopped it for a brief period of time.
Oh, it's back. Oh.
Yeah. But you still, like, you have to pay for it.
Yeah. I have lots of faith in you. It's going to be great. And yeah, trust the ick. I'm like a big believer in like ick. There's a huge difference between like being kind of ick and bored. Ick for me is like a stop, jump off the side of the boat. Like ick is like a no return. I'm done. Hard line. It's over. So, and also don't try and work through the ick because that's like dating apps. You get so much fucking fatigue. And if you are not feeling someone, don't feel any sort of obligation for any of this stuff.
In the match, it happens.
Yeah.
There will be, I mean, unless he's like a real ick, there will be no hard feelings because they're looking for the perfect person that's their match too.
And it only has to work out once. And that's like with relationships in general. I think we put a lot of pressure on like, it's not working out. It's not right. If it worked out every time we wanted it to work out, like how would you choose?
Right.
That wouldn't.
I mean, you wouldn't have to because it would just be the first person. You'd be done.
But now think back to the first person you ever like really like who it didn't work out with.
I know.
I would be married to a gay man. Yeah.
So would I.
And you get older, you're like, that's why it didn't work out. It's so funny. And I know his younger sister. And she's like, remember when you liked my brother? I was like, can we not? And she's like, haha. But yeah. Best of luck. Happy swiping.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I am 27 years old, 27-year-old female with the pronouns she, her, and I've been in a relationship for 9 months with my 29-year-old boyfriend who goes by he, him. Everything in our relationship is great, and I love him so much. He is my best friend and is the only person I see a life with, but he told me he doesn't want kids. I've always been on the fence about wanting them, and I can see a fulfilling life without them, but I'm worried down the line that I will change my mind and lose him. So my question is, how does someone know if they want kids or don't? Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.
Oof. This is hard. I don't feel like there are a lot of people with this mindset. I think at 27, most people that I know are, I guess maybe not, but
I think there's more people on the fence at 27. Yeah. I think so.
I mean, I think if you're wondering about this in the future, I think that it might be 51% you want to have kids.
I think so too. I do too. If you're wondering if you're going to lose him and you're on the fence, then I think more of the doubt is coming from the doubt of wanting kids is coming from the fact that you don't want to lose him.
Yeah, I think that like if you found out that he didn't want to have kids and your true feeling was that you never wanted to have kids, I think when he said it would have been a relief and it probably would have been like, wow, we're on the same page. But I think you having a response that you're like, well, shit. I think your initial response would have been a lot different if there wasn't at least potentially a greater part of you that wanted to have kids than didn't, or really wants to keep that option open. Yeah. Most of my friends I know who don't want to have kids, they are really adamant on like, I don't want to have kids. Actually, no, you're right. I do have one friends who both of them are very much on the same page of like 80% they don't want to have kids. And they think 20% maybe, but they're both there. And I think your boyfriend does not want to have kids.
Mm-hmm. So if you stay with him, do you feel like there's something missing in your life?
Well, I mean, I think, yeah. And I think you're right from to the beginning. I think if you are worried about future you, I think it's because you know you and you know that might happen. And I think put yourself in, okay, how about this? Envision you go on a date with somebody and what would you have done if he told you he really wants to have kids? Would it be the exact same reaction for you? Would you be worried that down the line, blah, blah, blah? Because then I think that you need to date somebody who is equally on the fence as you, who's like, I could have kids, but I have like, no, I don't absolutely need to,
right?
But I'm not.
Yeah. Like I could have kids if I had them. That wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. And like, it depends on where I end up in my life. Like I could definitely see myself having kids, but that's not something I've dreamed of my whole life. And so I feel like I would live a happy and fulfilled life. I would feel like I would live a happy and fulfilled life as somebody without kids and a happy and fulfilled life as somebody with kids. And for neither one, I feel like I would be sacrificing. I don't feel like I'd be sacrificing who I am and my individuality and my time to have kids. And I don't feel like I would be like sacrificing like hopes and like childhood dreams of this.
If it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay.
Yeah. And so I think, and that's a lot of people are like that.
but you have to be with someone who is also like that. And the only people I know in relationships who are like, they're with other people who are equally as like that. And that's what you gotta go for. And it sucks because this is one of those things that you're potentially ending a relationship for something you don't know is going to happen. But think of it as like protecting and preserving future you. And I think that even if there's a little bit of you that wants to have kids and all of that, I think it is best for you and him for you to like honor that and respect that. So you don't wake up one day and you're not like, well, shit, this is what I really would want. And yeah. And I just think that like, if this is, then you can love each other a ton, but you guys just aren't meant to be. And this, I think, is probably that sign.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think 9 months in's a little late to tell someone that? How soon do you think you should tell someone if you want or don't want kids?
I think it depends on your age. I think if she's 27, I don't think 9 months in is it.
He's 29.
He's 29.
It's also really irrelevant.
Shoot, whatever. And like, I think like for me, I'm 35. Yeah. So that needs to be like something first date.
Well, I also like that on dating apps, you say that. Like, yeah. I would rather, I want to know. I don't want to have to.
Yeah.
I think I would probably ask on a first.
I mean, I think it's fine to ask for on a first date, but I don't think 9 months.
You don't think it's a weird?
It's not.
It's not like a long time to wait before saying something like that. But I think it also like it makes sense that she's on the fence because like it didn't come up until now. But for me, that's something that like, and you like this is something that like is so important to me that I would have brought it up. So I can see how this is a difficult conflict. Wow, should we just start speaking in bad British accents?
I don't know. Mine's kind of nice.
I do like the face that you made. It was very snooty.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't want to be.
There's different kinds you can do too.
I know.
That's the nice one. And
you can posh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Cockney. I can do once. I just start watching Love Island again, and then I'll be really good.
Yeah.
Brov.
Oh, all right. It's time for Don't Blame Them.
Woohoo.
Coming at you.
Coming at you hard. So this is where a listener will call in with their own advice from a previously aired call from a different episode. So they're giving their own input. Maybe they have some personal experience or they just need to tell us what they think. So what episode is it from?
Just let them talk.
Okay, we're just going to let them talk. Never mind.
Hi, I'm calling for Don't Blame Them for Season 8, Episode 5, in regards to the caller who was in college and concerned that she was behind financially. So I'm in a very similar boat to the caller. I'm 19, class 2023, full-time student. I use she, her pronouns, and I live in the South. So I opted to go to a smaller college as well instead of a big university to save some money. So the first thing that I wanted to point out to the caller was questioning if her friends took out loans, because if she's saying that she owes $1,400, which is an incredible price for tuition, by the way, good for you. You clearly have scholarships and everything. Awesome. That's a lot different than somebody who supposedly owes zero because loans are covering it. So it could be a perspective thing of your friends either don't know or won't admit that they're taking out loans, and so they could actually not be owing $0. So just something to think about. Also, with the jobs, I would never advise to take a second job if you can avoid it. I did it as a full-time student the semester before COVID, and it was really horrible. Just way too much on my plate. Another thing regarding full-time, part-time, are your friends doing full-time classes? Because if they're a part-time student working full-time, and they're going to graduate a lot slower if you're a full-time student and working part-time, so you could get out before them making more money than they are. Just, again, a perspective thing. As far as jobs, again, if you are unhappy with how much money you're making, which the job that you're working is clearly paying you not enough at all, but instead of taking a full-time job, there are so many freelance sites where I think the caller said she wants to go into marketing. You can work and freelance for small companies who might want to hire somebody for a good price just to do some social media marketing or smaller things on the side, where you can choose those jobs and how much time you're putting in, and everything like that will also be any experience. Also, to the caller, just please know that you are not alone in your financial anxieties as a college student. It is real. And if you don't take any of my advice or don't like what I say, just know that you have a friend out there who understands your struggles, and it's going to be okay. All right. Love the podcast. Bye.
That's so sweet.
I'm going to give my first Don't Blame Them gold star.
Oh my gosh. So, don't blame them, caller. You are the one and only so far.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I think she gave very good insight that
she
we
gave
didn't think of at all, and then actionable steps to take.
Yeah, she gave like real advice that I'm like, yeah, I didn't go to college all night.
I mean, I did, but it was a long time ago, and all those things are things that I did not think of.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, part-time versus full-time student, and then also I know I don't understand anything about college loans at all. Like, I don't understand it.
They're a scam.
Well, I know that, but I don't understand, like,
you can take out like a lot of money.
Well, so you would still,
but then your balance would be zero because you're not paying it. The loan's covering it.
Oh, so the loan
and you can even get enough where you get like a refund, and
that's
then
so
you
dangerous.
Pocket. Yep.
I mean, college is a scam. As someone who dropped out of college, it's a scam. Wow. No, great points. And yeah, I cannot imagine going to college. I think it's like the most fucked up thing in the entire world that we have normalized something that is so unattainably expensive for the majority of people. But like,
and the way to obtain to go to it is by getting in debt.
That's so it's like it just like, it's one of those things that I'm like, the idea that we need this thing that is only feasible for like 1%, but everybody needs to do it. And so you're going to have to do all of this other shit and like pay all of it, like go into massive debt and like do all this other stuff for this thing. I hate. And then I hate the whole, like, you're going to have a job at the college experience, but then also like, you're not going to have a job. Like, oh my God, like the whole thing is like, it's just this weird
fucked. And then the people in Congress that are against it are like, well, I worked and I paid my way through school because it was $5 when you went.
Literally.
Have you not looked at how much tuition costs now? I
don't know anybody who has had a massive amount of student loan debt, even people who have paid it off, who have not been for forgiveness of student loan debt, because they're like, that's like hazing. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody.
Right.
Like, it's not a manageable thing at this point. Like, if it was manageable for you, look at everybody else. Like that, it pisses me the fuck off.
Me too.
It's like, I paid for it and you're right. It's like, would you pay $11?
You know what pisses me off the most?
Huh.
How this is like Elizabeth Warren's number one thing right now. And people didn't vote for her.
I know. She's our queen.
I know. All right. Before we close out this episode.
So we basically have a correction from the June 7th episode for something that we did not know about. And this person commented publicly. So do you think we could...
We can say yeah, because you put it on the Instagram.
It's on Instagram. So it was in reference to us giving some advice to someone, and basically we said that they should, like, you know, bad vibes, sage the place, and we both had no idea that sage is not something that anyone should be just like picking up and burning and using and all of that, and that it is a sacred practice. And our bad. Had no idea, but someone left a comment. I can read it if you want me to.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, so I got to get it close. On our Instagram.
Make it bigger too.
I think I can just zoom in.
Yeah, that's fine.
From Janelle Lapointe. I'm listening to an old episode and heard you encouraging a call back to sage their apartment, just letting you know that saging is a closed indigenous practice that has been culturally appropriated by white New Age spirituality. Because of its popularity, white sage is now going endangered. Indigenous people were outlawed from their cultural practices until recent decades, and so it's important that they have access to their sacred medicines and that they can practice without cultural appropriation. I would not recommend encouraging others to appropriate this practice. So thank you. Had absolutely no idea. And
so my great-great-grandmother was half indigenous, half black. And I grew up saging, and I thought it was, I didn't know that that's where, like my great-grandmother was still alive until I was like 12. And
that's so cool.
Yeah. So her mother was saging. So like that had been a part of my life, and I had no idea.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that about. That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up with families who saged, but like problematic white folk, like not shocked at all. I also grew up doing traditional Indian dance and wearing a bindi and like having parents take pictures of like their 7-year-old children in saris and bindis. And I look back and I'm like, who let this happen? And anyone who's from Marin will know that Marin has like a specific, like affluent white people have a real specific, liberal affluent white people have like a real specific pocket that they think they fit into of like, I'm respecting this. I'm like, I'm 8. Parents can't tell me that I'm I don't know any of this shit. So yeah, incredibly helpful. And I saw a TikTok after I saw that comment, which I'm like, yes, TikTok. I love when you listen to my devices. No sarcasm. Like, I actually love it. It was someone else who was like talking about this and about how, and also just the whole like process of, and it makes complete sense to me that the whole like process of saging is
smudging is the
correct term. Of smudging and like using sage is much more than just like lighting something and the whole
see when I do it I light it and would say like a prayer and things while I did it, and I didn't know that that's why.
See, I know the cultural appropriated version of that, which is like you just light it and like that's what you're supposed to do, and like very hippie new age spirituality. Like they're totally right. So yeah, this was like incredible info. So thank you.
And we apologize as well.
We apologize and we retract that advice. And that's it for our episode. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Again, all the same rules and requirements from the beginning apply. Please keep it under 3 minutes. Write it down. Practice. Make sure you let us know all the details, ages, everything. Specifics. We want all of the specifics, and let us know your pronouns and make sure you're 18 or over, have your parents' permission. Our video version of the podcast is only $1 a month. So that is literally 25 cents to 20 cents a month per episode. That's it. I mean, 20 to 25 cents per episode, $1 a month. It's not expensive at all. And you can watch the video version if you enjoy that. And if you just want to support the Patreon, we have a $5 tier where we do 2 Zoom live streams a month. They're really fun. We all really get to know each other, and there's like no awkwardness at all. It's a great way to like get into like social interactions if you are like, if your country is opening up a little bit more and you're easing back into it, or if your country is closing down a little bit more. It's like really
your county.
Fun. Your county. That is true. It's really fun. And it also just helps us continue to do the show. You can also put in any amount of money. So if you're like, if Jeff Bezos, if you're listening, I hate you, but I'll take your money. If you want to like be like $50,000 a month.
No, we should be going after his wife. She's actually giving money out.
Yeah, we should. But I
want his money.
I want his money.
Yeah, but she's given out like in the last year, like I think I saw like 500.
I did see someone who said she's doing it for tax purposes, and I was like, but who cares?
Yeah, she's still doing it.
Because
he's not. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Okay, follow us everywhere on the Instagram by Megan and Melissa. Personal Instagrams, everything is linked down below. We would love if you could follow us TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Fuck yeah, goodbye. Ow, I just cracked my knuckle.
It's like, is that your hip or your
no, it was my knuckle on my hip. It didn't even hurt, it just kind of shocked me.
I heard, like it sounded wet.
It did.
Very juicy.
Okay.
Very juicy.
I'm gonna have to wait a second before I get up so I don't faint. No. You're fucking with me. Okay, I'm taking the headphones off. Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but
I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.